تحمل علينا إصرا. I love this word. Ya Allah, don't burden us don't load onto us an isr. An isr. لما لم يقل لا تحمل علينا حملا وزرا إصرا. Isr is used in the meaning of a burden. But so are so many other words that are used in the Quran. So many words for burden, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ, So why Isr? Isr is actually used for something that is tied up. Something that's packed up. When something is tied up, it is trapped. This ayah has a lot of meanings. I'll give you the easy meaning first. The easy meaning is, Ya Allah, don't put a burden on us like you put on the people before us. كَمَا حَمَلْتَهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِنَا. But there's another meaning. The other meaning is, when people disobey Allah, then sometimes Allah punishes them in this world. You know that, right? When a believing nation disobeys Allah, like Banu Israel were a believing nation, when they disobeyed Allah, Allah gives them different kinds of punishments. Disbelieving nations, when they disobey Allah, they are destroyed. Believing nations, when they disobey Allah, Allah gives them different kinds of burdens. Allah gives them what? Different kinds of burdens. One kind of burden, when a believing ummah disobeys Allah, Allah does not punish them with fire from the sky, or a flood, or an earthquake. How does He punish them? He punishes them by breaking them up into groups that hate each other. One punishment is, He breaks them into groups, and what do the groups do? They hate each other. This is a punishment from Allah for an ummah that disobeys Allah. You wouldn't know anything about that, of course. The second punishment, and if you study Bani Israel, by the way, study Bani Israel in the Quran, you will find how does Allah punish a nation that disobeys Allah. An ummah, a believing ummah with prophets. And so you learn from that what will happen to us. Now let me tell you what happens to us. وَقَالُوا قُلُوبُنَا غُلْفٌ. People think they already understand the religion. There's nothing more to learn. I already know everything about the Quran. I learned tafsir already. Because to me, إذا قرأت تفسير ابن كثير هذا يعني فهمت القرآن كاملا. أيها الإنسان. This is the book of Allah. No human being can ever fully understand it. This is not a human book. This is a divine book. But you know what happens? People say, I already know what the Quran says. I made up my mind. And they wrap themselves up. And they become rigid. The ummah becomes rigid. And the book itself has rahmah in it, but since you left the book, the ummah becomes tougher and tougher and tougher. And people that are supposed to be religious, they end up becoming more religious than the Sahaba. They become more strict. They make more things haram. They make more things difficult. They make more things harsh than even the deen of Allah wants it to be. And this makes the ummah turn away from the deen. Because when one group becomes rigid, then they like to distinguish themselves from the other group. And the other group becomes more rigid because every action has an equal but opposite reaction. So now you got two extreme groups. They both hate each other. And most of you normal people are in the middle. And you say, I want to learn Islam, but the only two options are these crazy and these crazy. So since they're both crazy, you figure, I can't learn Islam. Okay, I can't handle it. We put these burdens on ourselves. I'll give you an example my teacher gave me. My teacher, among them is Dr. Akram Nadwi. May Allah protect him. He's a muhaddith, and he's also, he's got 600 ijazat. Over 400 in hadith alone. Over 40 in Sahih al-Bukhari alone. And he's a scholar of the Hanafi school. He came to our campus in Texas and he gave us a course on the fundamentals of Islam. And here's the first thing he told us. First thing he told us was, how many prophets were there? He asked us a question, how many prophets were there? Tell me, how many prophets? You guys know? 124,000. Very good. How many prophets you know? 50,000? 30,000? Okay, give me 10,000. Okay, fine, give me 500. This is a reverse auction. I'll give you discount, give me 100. No? 50? 40? 25. 25. How many prophets are there again? 124,000. How many prophets you know? 25. Do you know everything about them? Do you know everything they said? You know just some things they said, yes? Okay. Will Allah ask you on Judgment Day the names of all the prophets? Are the prophets important people? Yes. Will Allah ask you all of their names? Will Allah ask you everything they said? No. Allah will definitely not ask you who Abu Hanifa was. He will not ask you who Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah was. He's not going to ask you who Ahmad ibn Hanbal was. Because if Allah was going to ask you names, it would have been names of who? Prophets. So you don't have to know everything Abu Hanifa said. You don't have to know everything Imam Shafi'i said. You just have to know what Allah said. That's what you have to know. And this is a Hanafi scholar, one of the top Hanafi scholars in the world. And this is the first day of his class. And I'm sitting there going, is that okay? Is anybody else shocked? Because I come from Pakistan. And in Pakistan, you don't call yourself Muslim. You call yourself what? Hanafi. We call ourselves Sunni. We call ourselves Shafi'i. We like to call ourselves some other sticker. And Allah, the only sticker He wants for you is what? Muslim. And Islam is simple, but we like to make things what? We love complication. We love it. We love it. We love a kitab, then we love the sharh of that kitab, then we love the sharh of the sharh of the sharh of that kitab with a hashiyah. The deen is simple. It's simple. How many books have been written in the history of Islam? For Islam? Uncountable. The father of this ummah is Ibrahim alayhi salam, yes? He's the father also of Banu Israel, yes? Combine these two nations. How many books have been written by the Jews? How many books have been written by the Muslims in Sharia? How many books on Torah are there? How much scholarship on Torah is there? How much scholarship on Quran is there? How long has it been going on? The volumes are endless, endless, endless. And the father of all of these nations is who? Ibrahim alayhi salam. The director of all the libraries is Ibrahim alayhi salam, yes? Now study Ibrahim alayhi salam. How complicated is he? Simple. فلما رأى الشمس والقمر هذا ربي هذا أكبر إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر. Oh my God. Is he saying complicated things or simple things? The prophets in the Quran said simple things. We love to say complicated things. We are not like the prophets. We should learn from them a little bit. We've complicated our religion. We have to bring it back to simple. Ya Allah, don't put a burden on us like you put on the people before us. Did the Jews complicate their religion? They complicated their religion, yes? Allah gave them something beautiful, simple, straightforward. They complicated it. Have the Muslims complicated their religion? رَبَّنَا لَا تَحْمِلْ عَلَيْنَا إِصْرًا كَمَا حَمَلْتَهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِنَا. You understand what I'm saying to you? This is the time, people. This is the time to relieve the burden. وَيَضَعُ عَنْهُمْ إِصْرَهُمْ وَالْأَغْلَالَ الَّتِي كَانَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ. Allah brought the Quran to remove the burdens from them. You know, this ayah is so amazing. You will understand what Isra means because of this ayah. Jews had fiqh books that were endless. And for every mas'ala, every issue, they have 100 opinions. They have 100 opinions. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. So many opinions on every issue. And then on top of that, they believe if the alim passed a fatwa, that is Islam itself. That is what Allah wants. The fatwa of the rabbi is the same as the amr of Allah to them. To them. Muslims would never do that, right? Oh wait. And they had this complicated religion. And then Allah sent them the Quran through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they said, we can't have this man. We can't accept him because he's ummi. He doesn't even have a PhD. We have these complicated books and the Quran is what? Simple, straightforward. We can't have that. Allah says He came so He can remove your burdens. You burdened yourself with overcomplication and the Deen came to make things simple. We love overcomplication. As a matter of fact, the more religious you get, the more religion you study, the more complicated you become. And the more complicated you make the lives of the people around you. This book is simple. Ya Allah, don't put this burden on us. The more you study Deen, the happier you should be, and the happier people around you should be. If the people around you are not happy, you are not learning Islam. I'm sorry. You're learning something else. You're learning Isr. You're learning Isr. How many people learn Islam and start fighting at home? Start conflicts at home, arguments at home because of Deen. That's not how you learn Deen. Deen is supposed to increase love among people, not hate. That's what it's supposed to do. Subhanallah.